Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 253.
253.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. There are Walt Disney World offers that extend into summer, as well as Disneyland dates into April. And MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel can book pretty much anything around the world. They've been to, especially Becky, she was at all the parks last year, and right now she's at Disney's Grand Californian checking that out. I guess they had this big refurb that I didn't even know about until I saw her post.
Yeah, there's all kinds of refurbishment going on there at Disneyland, so it'll be interesting to keep up with that. But anyway, check them out, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel, highly recommended by us.
And head to their website and get a quote, or just sign up for their newsletter.
So we're going to start off the show this week with Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Right, we headed to Boma. This is Jeff's traditional breakfast. Like, I can't even say things.
Yes, it's the traditional birthday breakfast. We go every year, and it runs until 11 o'clock. We usually get a late seating, and I find out it works great. I mean, there's excellent service because there's nobody there.
Well, there was a little more. This was at the end of the meal, but
that's true.
We usually arrive, like, I think about 10:45, and then it really becomes more of a brunch as opposed to a breakfast. And especially considering they have, like, a lot of times turkey and ham on the menu, it's you don't necessarily want that at 7 or 8 a.m.
And I highly recommend everything you're seeing here because all the vegetables are right off this fire grill here, including the very
asparagus.
Yes, the very yummy asparagus.
This is my favorite asparagus, like, anywhere. And then they have that lovely turkey.
Oh, the turkey, so awesome. That's the highlight of the whole meal. I had 2 helpings of it this time.
So the turkey isn't always there. I think only one time it hasn't been there when we've gone. So usually it is there. Plus they had a ham next door, but they have traditional offerings, but they also have, like, there's plantains there. They have made to order omelets. There's a couple of different kinds of eggs.
Yeah, and that second one there has goat cheese in it. So something you don't see in every type of scrambled eggs. That's what I like, something very different, a lot of different flavors. But of course, you still have Mickey waffles and Simba waffles.
And just like if you go to Ohana, I think we had the Stitch waffles.
Right.
So a little something different. And these are the made-to-order omelets over here, which you did not have this time.
I did not get this time, and I usually do, but I tried so many different things that over the years I never have had, so it was worth it. I like the variety.
And while we're looking at everything, I just want to mention the restaurant's supposed to resemble an African marketplace. It's been one of my favorite restaurants since before it actually officially opened, the Animal Kingdom Lodge, because I did a test day as a Disney cast member, so I got to try Boma before other guests did, so that was a lot of fun. And I worked at the Disney Reservation Center for about a year or so, and we're looking at pastries and such here. And the price has gone up a lot in the last few years. I think it used to be like $17, and now it's closer to $30.
Well, the only thing that could make this entire experience better is 2 words: zebra domes.
Oh,
if they had zebra domes during this buffet here, it would be spectacular. But they do have that in the evening, and we'll be doing that buffet pretty soon, I guess.
Yeah, I think in a couple of weeks or so we'll be here
with
for dinner.
With a curious friend of ours. So here is my very first plate there. There's some smoked salmon, asparagus off the grill, and yummy turkey.
Well, that Boma mustard really makes a turkey. It's a little spicy, but there's something about it. It gives it a little bit of a kick. And then the asparagus is probably the best I've ever had anywhere.
And you also get jungle juice included.
And I think the coffee is like a Kenyan coffee. So you get jungle juice, you can get orange juice, but of course you can get your sodas and iced tea I usually get.
And you don't normally like tomatoes like that, but this was also off the grill. And I tried one after seeing yours. It was so good.
I don't like tomatoes. I don't just eat a tomato. I'll eat tomato sauce. And this is sort of a stewed grilled tomato with I don't know if you can have a stewed and grilled tomato.
No, I don't think you
can. So
it's
a grilled tomato probably, and it's really good.
And here, a close-up of the Mickey and Simba waffles.
Right, and a lot of, sometimes I'll have somebody say it's Nala, but I think it's supposed to be Simba.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, it's a Lion King waffle.
It is a Lion King waffle.
I think it's Simba.
And this is one of the rare times where I am glad a buffet does not include characters.
Well, I mean, there are other restaurants like The Wave, and also Trails End that do not have characters. And I think it's a little nicer, it's a little quieter, I think, when you don't have and we do character meals.
Yeah, love
enough.
character meals.
We
love
like
them.
them. But it's nice every now and then to have one that isn't.
And this is my my little birthday bonus they brought for me.
I thought that was nice. A couple of cupcakes, and they're still in the fridge. You know, we still have them.
We have to have those very soon, but you did try a bite of it. Did you enjoy the cupcake?
It was very nice. I thought it was a really nice bonus.
And now we're going to take a little look around. Here are some wood carvings that can be found along the buffet.
Well, it's not even just along the buffet. This is kind of as you're entering the restaurant. So right now we're sort of going backwards as we're leaving. But I've always enjoyed the decor here.
And you never know what kind of magic you're going to get while you are. You get an additional bonus. I did not see the hippo coming, but there he is. Hungry hippo.
And the funny thing is, the person whose hippo it was knew who we were. I actually got a message on Instagram not too much longer later saying that they had seen us, and also that the husband was in the video, but I didn't get an okay on whether or not to add him to the video, so we cut him out, but not the hippo, because the hippo was
hilarious. I had no idea that was going to happen, by the way.
This was the first time I actually had seen the hippo. I had only heard about it.
And unlike last year on my birthday, where it was very, very freezing cold, it was a beautiful day. You could see people were swimming in the pool. The animals were out. Here are the giraffes. It's so nice to be, after a nice breakfast, to be able to walk around and see the animals and just enjoy the beauty of the resort.
Well, it was nice to have the quick reprieve on the weather, because it was cold, and then we've had a few warm days, and now we're now into the cold again. And we're supposed to hit 31 as a low next Wednesday.
Nobody feels sorry for us that live in negative places, negative cold places.
But it was nice on this day to be able to be outside and not in a big coat or anything, but to get to see, really Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge is such a unique resort. One of the most unique resorts certainly I have ever been to, and it was really nice to go get to see the animals.
So now we're going to head over to Epcot. This was the very next day, and this was new to us. This is the International Gateway concept art for the Skyliner, which is the new, I guess you could call it a skyway that's going to be a transportation mode coming soon.
Well, there's gondolas, and we showed, I think last week, Disney's Hollywood Studios one, but here is the concept art for the one that will be here at Epcot at the International Gateway, which will make this area certainly much busier because you're going to have more guests coming in.
And this is a really, really good representation. You get a good idea of what it's going to look like. They're not showing a huge line of people waiting to get in, though, so perhaps they have alternate plans to open many more entranceways.
I don't see a bigger entranceway, so we'll see what happens. I think they're just not wanting to put 1,000 guests there. But anyway, I mentioned we showed the Hollywood Studios one, and this particular station is inspired by nearby European pavilions and will be covered with metal and glass canopies, hand-painted murals, and ornamental steel structures that they said harken back to early 18th century Art Nouveau style. I don't know if Art Nouveau is early 18th century, but anyway, it also will offer that bird's eye view of World Showcase, which I actually am looking forward to.
Well, as we mentioned last week, we will be riding this thing, unless it costs a ton of money to do it, many, many times for all the aerial photography we'll be able to do, especially with the France Pavilion being constructed probably around the same time.
Well, they don't charge for any other transportation at this point, so I'm hoping that will continue.
Yes.
The day that we went, you can see it was warmish, but it was very cloudy. It was kind of a little misty and rainy all day.
Right. So I decided I was going to take a look in the China Pavilion just to see if there was any new Shanghai merchandise, and we hit the mother lode. Look at all this stuff.
Shanghai Disneyland merchandise.
Oh, that's what I meant, of course.
Yes, and this was the most that we've ever seen here. When they first started doing it, it was a handful of different items, and then when we've gone back in other times, there's been like
less
pins.
Very few. The last time there was maybe 10 items or less.
I think less. I mean, you had some pins and a couple watches, but now you have the mugs for the first anniversary, and all kinds of plush and trains and watches and pins. And, it's probably like half of Shanghai Disneyland's collection is right here.
There's one thing that I noticed that changed since that very first day that we went and saw this merchandise. We actually purchased a bunch of the merchandise. The prices have seemed to have gone up a little bit. I would have bought that mug if it was the price that we had the grand opening mug.
Right, the grand opening mug.
$12, I think.
Well, I think it was $13 or $14 actually, but it was a big mug. And this is a smaller mug and it closer to like $18 or $19.
Well, I'm thinking of after the discount, because they did give us a discount.
Well, I mean, but it was about a $5 difference. So all of the merchandise, including the pins, are a little bit more money than they were at the time when they first started selling. But that, you know, if you're not going to Shanghai, this is still probably less expensive than, let's say, buying on eBay if there's something that you see that you want, if somebody even is selling it. So this is the train from, I think that's from their parade, and that is on like so many different items here, including that bag.
Well, it mostly seems to represent the 1-year anniversary. That must be the theme of the 1-year anniversary, somehow, that train.
Right, and there it is also. It, you know, when I see it, it always reminds me of Casey Jr.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they have handbags. I mean, they're okay handbags. They're a little thin. It's not like Dooney and Bourke.
Yeah,
That's sort of what
it looks like that in the video, but when you touch it, you're right. It's more a little flimsier.
Right. It's more of a vinyl type bag. And then here is, well, the train we saw from the front, the plush, and you have Mickey and Minnie inside. And I mentioned the prices. I think this was about $44.95 or so. So it's definitely more money than, you know, a standard item. If you were going to buy it generally at Walt Disney World, it's a little bit more money.
Very cute, though. I do like it. I think all the merchandise is nice. So, you know, something to think about.
Yes, and then the merchandise does change regularly. I think, you know, it's not, they have so much of this particular merchandise, maybe it won't leave quite as quickly as some of the other times that they've had items. It wasn't like there was 100 people over it, which is totally what it was like the first time.
Well, I do have my eye on that 1-year hat, so perhaps I will
you should probably get it.
So let's talk about Maria and Enzo's. They had us out there for the grand opening, and we had some song and dance, and of course, I think we're going to see the big cheese, and Minnie also, the other big cheese.
I don't know if I think he's I think he's the only big cheese.
And they steal the show. They totally steal the show as soon as they come out. They are international superstars.
So we were at the grand opening, obviously, of Maria and Enzo's Ristorante. This is part of the complex, if you've heard of the Edison, which is really what we had heard about so much for a couple of years before they then announced that there were 3 additional Italian restaurants joining the Edison at this complex. This is where we are, and Mickey and Minnie are now checking out this big plate of spaghetti and meatballs, a big bowl of it.
And Mickey looks like he's really going to get into it. He looks very hungry somehow. So, and it does look very good, doesn't it?
Yes, and this was National Spaghetti Day, which is why they brought it out. The grand opening was on National Spaghetti Day, and here we are entering into the restaurant.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the theme of this particular restaurant?
So I had written an article on it. We had actually gotten to preview it a few weeks before it opened. So I'm just kind of reading off of that. But the backstory for the 3 Italian restaurants that are here is that the location used to be a Disney Springs air terminal. And then Maria and Enzo are Italian immigrants who owned the bakery inside, and then they purchased the terminal. And you can see how spacious this area is. And the mural is really beautiful. Like if you're looking at the Carolinas, if you're looking at Daytona Beach, you are looking towards those locations.
Right. It is geographically correct is the word they use, and that's kind of cool.
And you can be upgraded to the first class lounge here, and I guess you get a drink if you go in.
Oh, that is very cool.
Right, the glass of Prosecco, I believe, and then I think there's wing pins because I saw that online.
Oh, like when you fly in the airlines, little pins?
And I haven't seen them in person. We actually haven't dined at any of these restaurants on our own yet.
Lot to look forward to. We will dine at all of them.
At some point. We
correct.
have a lot of restaurants this month
right.
to look forward to already. So you can see characters in flight outside.
This is my favorite table right here. You look out, you have the beautiful view with the characters in flight, and then you can look in, and this is absolutely stunning in person.
And the reviews on Maria and Enzo's have been very good so far, and certainly the Edison as well.
Well, I did try the pasta. They're giving out little samples with meatballs, and it was awesome.
And I missed the meatballs, so I would have liked to have tried that. And so now we're heading into Enzo's Hideaway. This actually, I think, opened yesterday from the time that we're recording this, so it's very extra new. And the storyline on this is that it used to be bootlegger tunnels during Prohibition. Enzo turned it into a speakeasy, and now it will be, or it is, as of yesterday, a restaurant with Roman Italian cuisine. Each of the Italian restaurants has a different type of cuisine. And for me, it has kind of the feeling of a wine cellar, like when we were at Chenonceau in France, when we were in that wine cellar. That's what it reminds me of.
It really does. It really does have that feeling, very authentic. But, you know, this used to be where the cast member tunnels were, we learned when we went through our preview tour. So I find that very interesting. They've repurposed that to an actual, you know, a dining location.
This is actually, as far as just the feel of it, I think this is my favorite area of the three. How about the four, including the Edison?
Right.
There's just something about it that's, you know, very kind of homey and almost European, and just really, I really enjoy it.
So looking through the wall here with all the different writing and scribble, I knew there must be some kind of Mickey or some kind of reference to Disney, and I did find one, and there it is. You can see it right there. There is the Mickey ears, and somebody has written Walt, and it has the actual Walt autograph look to it. Obviously, it's not real, but I thought that was a nice little tribute.
That's why I thought that was kind of cool. I don't even know how you found it. I think you said you had heard there might be...
I have an eye for these things.
A hidden Mickey there, apparently. And plus, it's red.
Yeah, that too.
And also, I believe there's more rum drinks here than anywhere else at Disney Springs.
A tiki bar. Yum.
It's not quite a tiki bar,
Well,
but
if you like tiki bars, stay tuned later on in the show.
And then there's one table right there off to the side, which is kind of cool.
And this is our cue to go into the Edison. I just saw a flapper girl there welcoming us in. And obviously this is not the normal way you would enter the Edison. Normally you would enter out front with a big clock and all that, and we'll talk about that later. I just wanted to mention this is very cool, the community hand washing station outside the men's and women's room, so you know people are actually washing their hands.
Or not washing.
Or not, which is a very good thing. And it reminds me of something they had at
Fabiano
at Disneyland Paris when you and I, it was the first time we've ever experienced something like that. So
yep.
Anyway, go ahead with the backstory of the Edison.
So the Edison's backstory is that it used to be a power plant and features a working clock tower, and that is sort of its signature icon already. The location is family friendly by day, but at 10 p.m. it is 21 and over. There will be times it has a cover charge as well. And also there is a moderate dress code, like signature dinings at Walt Disney World. And I think that's more for the evening, not fancy, but no flip-flops, tank tops, etc. And this is a milder version of its LA counterpart.
So here's a look at that clock there. This is the first thing you would normally see as you walk in. And this is sort of the rotunda there, very beautiful.
And at night also, they said, unlike the LA location, it's more cabaret than burlesque. So, you know, you have aerialists, you have dancing. We have not been here in the evenings yet.
We need to investigate for ourselves for the sake of reporting.
At some point we will get over here. Also, there are authentic artifacts. So think estate sales and such is how that type of thing is how they ended up getting the artifacts here.
This area here does have the old Adventurers Club feel to it, the way the stairs go. I know it's not exactly the same setup, but there are certain little nods to me that remind me of the old Adventurers Club.
I know, I can feel that. You know, I can see that too. And also, you can see there are several bars. They each have a name, like the Breaker Bar, the Boiler Bar, and I believe that each of them have some individual drinks as well.
Well, getting back to the Adventurers Club, I just saw they've added a new drink called the Samantha Sterling to one of the bars, which of course is a Adventurers Club nod. So very nice, and here's a look at it outside. It's very beautiful, and I'm glad that all this stuff is finally opened. So we have four new restaurants to check out, including the quick service.
Pizza Ponte, yep.
So now we're going to talk about something completely different, Paddington 2.
So Paddington 2 arrived in theaters this weekend, but we actually saw it a couple of months ago. We were able to preview it, but we weren't able to review it until this week. And I just want to mention, this is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and there's a reason for that.
Yes, it is wonderful. By the way, if you've seen the first Paddington, you will definitely see the animation itself has highly improved in this new edition. But regardless of that, it's just funny. It's got an awesome cast, and I mean, I was smiling the entire way through, and that's very rare. I would put it right up with a completely different film, The Florida Project, as a favorite film of mine from last year.
And Coco.
And Coco also.
And by last year, it opened in the UK.
Right,
and we saw it a little bit after that, and then it's coming out this weekend in the United States. Hugh Grant plays a thief, and pretty much a washed-up actor, and he is fantastic. And we can see somebody is in jail,
That's
in
right.
prison here, and that's Paddington. And I was just going to say, you mentioned how the animation is better, and I just think the emotions of Paddington are just fantastic.
Right, you really feel for him, and that's important to care.
And he's voiced, if you've ever seen the current James Bond films, Ben Whishaw, who plays Q, he does it so charmingly. So if this is just a quick review, if you see Paddington's out and you want to go see a movie, we really recommend this one.
Yes, 2 thumbs up from from Jeff and Denise.
Yes.
So now we're going to talk about something that I have been looking forward to literally for years. We finally made it out to the Mai-Kai in Fort Lauderdale, and I had first heard about it with you when Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar first opened in Anaheim. We were just at the bar and having a tropical drink, and one of the other guys was telling us, you know, if you are from Florida, the best tiki bar in the world is not far from you. And we heard all about the legend of the Mai-Kai, so we finally got there, and this is the Molokai Bar, and this is how we're going to start off our experience.
Right, and we had been invited to a Carnival Cruise Line press event in Miami, which we'll talk about in another show. But so Jeff was like, well, it's my birthday, it's close to Miami.
I'm really using this birthday for as much as I can.
Yes,
I'll tell you.
you know, so let's head over to the Mai-Kai. This is, you know, your chance to get here.
So here is a look at the Mai-Kai menu. It is a absolutely huge menu. These are just the wines and other non-tiki drinks, and these are all the tropical drinks here.
Well, there's 51 specialty drinks plus other drinks, including the wine. So, I mean, it's a lot. And this is the bar menu. And also, if you go during happy hour, which is every single day that they're open, then you can get half-price appetizers and half-price on most drinks.
And you started with a Planter's Punch, and here is the Barrel O Rum. And we're going to talk about mugs after, but you can buy the Barrel O Rum a little cheaper if you get it, you know, with the drink. Also, this is a Mai Tai on the right for you and a Zombie on the left for me. And here is my my mug haul. So I have almost all the mugs you can possibly get except for the mystery drink mug. And here is a look at the mystery drink. Now that's a $50 drink for 4, and the ingredients are a mystery, and you get served the mystery drink by the mystery girl, and there's a representation of her right there, and I guess she'll do a dance and do a presentation of this this giant tiki bowl. So it sounds like a very impressive presentation, very mysterious too.
And she did it for Johnny Carson, or
Yes.
one of the mystery girls.
Johnny Carson liked that so much, he had the mystery girl herself go on the Johnny Carson show, and it was like a big deal back in the day.
Well, he loved this place, just like Shag, just like Kevin and Jody, like
Ed
so
McMahon,
many.
big favorite place also.
Right, so it's such a famous tiki bar.
And look how beautiful it is. It is absolutely spectacular. Just the gardens out here.
And I just want to mention that we paid our own way. We did pay for our meals and all our drinks and everything. You did get a couple of mugs very nicely from the manager.
Oh, the manager was awesome.
He gave us a
Tremendous
fantastic tour. So we'll see a little bit more than we normally would if we were just coming here without meeting up with anybody, without, you know, having the tour. So anyway, there are artifacts also in this garden. There's new items, but there's also old artifacts. But I guess they've had at least one hurricane, maybe 2 hurricanes come through here. So, you know, things have changed a little bit over the years. But this is 60 years old. The Mai-Kai is 60 now.
And we're looking at some artifacts. These are actual, real artifacts, and you're about to see a shrunken head. They actually had these shrunken heads before the restaurant even opened.
It sort of reminds me, and this is what we said that night when we went to Ripley's, Believe It or Not.
Oh yeah,
because
and they were real. They were
right, just
very
like here.
authentic too.
So it's really interesting just to kind of look around the bar and the restaurant.
So we got a special tour, and why don't we talk about that? I believe this is the Chinese oven where they cook all the meats that are served in the restaurant.
There are so many different items on the menu. I don't know how they do it, but this is Kern Maddie. He is the manager who gave us the tour. His mom was a dancer, and his dad had the same job that he has now. So really, I mean, this has been all along that they have been part of the restaurant almost since the beginning.
And this is one of the biggest bars I have ever seen in my entire life. This is inside. Most people don't get to see it, but this is the Mai-Kai bar.
Right, and so you can see how many different, I mean, I've never seen anything kind of like it, maybe because I'm not usually going, you know, in the back somewhere, but I thought it was pretty incredible.
And there is the one of the creators right here.
Right, this is Bob Thornton, and he and his brother Jack had created the Mai-Kai, and it's still in the Thornton family. And Mireille Thornton, she does a choreography on the Islander Review show. Every year they do a new show, and she used to be a dancer.
It's so nice that so much of it is still in the family. When people work there, it's for a long time. Now we're going to start talking about the Islander Review, and there was your salad, and that is a lobster bisque. Lots of chunks of lobster. I thought this was excellent. You know I love lobster bisques, so I was quite happy with my appetizer. This menu, by the way, is a special menu that you need to ask for, and I would recommend doing it.
And currently it's called the Bali Hai Menu. It's $47 and probably plus tax and tip. And then it includes an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. And there's actually a number of different items in each category that you can choose from.
Right, and it includes the show. Otherwise, you would have to pay $15 a person for the show. And these are our meals. I believe this was shrimp, beef, and chicken. And there is some pork fried rice. There is teriyaki. It was the teriyaki combo.
And I had the teriyaki chicken. And from the menu online, I think it may have been a little more extensive menu in person.
So you had a huki lau drink, and I had a mara umu drink.
And they were good. I mean, they were all good drinks. And again, we started out with half-price drinks for happy hour, though.
Right, and what's nice, another tip is if you get a half-price happy hour drink, you're allowed to bring it into the showroom, so at least you can start off with a few drinks half price before you get there for dinner. This was the highlight of the show, by the way, the fire knife dancers. I always love the fire dancers. You've heard me say that before on the show. I thought this was the best I've ever seen as far as spectacularness of it.
And I really like that it's an indoor show as opposed to an outdoor show. But this is a very popular, very famous show. They play twice per night. I believe Mondays is the only day that they are not open.
And it's the longest running Polynesian show in the United States, and that includes Hawaii. It opened in 1962, so they must be doing something right to be able to play that long. And I would recommend after dinner, after the show, all that, go back to the Mai-Kai Lounge, which we did for coffee. Not a regular coffee, though. This is a Kona Coffee Grog, and it is served flaming tableside. You're seeing this now, and it is flaming rum. The presentation alone is what's worth it. And there's one of the other mugs, the Kona mug that I purchased. Oh, well, actually, I was given that.
Oh, that was one of the ones, the two that you were given. Jeff was going to buy all four, and that was really very nice of them to offer a couple of them to him.
And here it is. It is quite delightful.
That is a really cool looking mug. I think, isn't that in that book that I just bought you another book,
right.
So it's probably been here for a little while. But all the mugs, and really we were told originally that there was only 2 mugs there, but there were actually 4 mugs there.
So the Mai-Kai was everything I hoped for and more, and that is a true story. I loved it. It exceeded my expectations.
And it's only a few hours. It's like 3 hours or just a little bit more from the Orlando area. And again, I think it's closed just Mondays, and then it's open every evening otherwise. And then happy hour was very nice, and that was from 4:30 to 7 approximately every day.
Right. I highly recommend, if you can do it, go for the happy hour. Whenever it opens, be there for opening. Enjoy the happy hour until 7 o'clock. Then go ahead, do dinner in the show. Then perhaps get a flaming dessert beverage there. And, of course, we need to go back and try the mystery drink.
Oh, yeah, I know you want it.
You need it. You need a mystery drink, too. We just have to find 2 more people. It serves 4, apparently.
Right. You know what? It was a really nice time. I was actually very surprised, more so. I knew that I would probably really enjoy it, but it exceeded what I expected. I thought it was very interesting. It's very easy to find. Fort Lauderdale is not like Miami. It's a little easier to get around. And it was just like right off the road. It's just like right there. And then it's sort of in, like the gardens are close to the road, but enclosed.
Well, believe it or not, that is another show.
That's another show.
Want to thank our sponsors, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Yes, check them out, especially for Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, plus everywhere else in the world.
More importantly, the Mai-Kai.
And if you're looking for a hotel in Fort Lauderdale, I'm sure they could help you with that as well.
So we have lots more goodness coming up next week. We're finally going to talk about the Epcot Festival of the Arts. Yes. and some other surprises as well.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of it will be Epcot Festival of the Arts and then some boardwalk, maybe a little studios if we have a chance. Just we have quite a bit tomorrow that we're going to be doing, and that will probably be the main part of the show.
So anyway, we want to thank everyone for listening. Have a great week. We'll see you all next week. And aloha!
Have a great week.